Here are today's team of 7 contestants about to play for £20,000. Only one of them will walk away with the prize money. 6 of them will leave empty-handed after their teammates vote them the weakest link.
Welcome to the weakest link. Any of the 7 people in the studio here tonight could win up to £20,000. They don't know each other, however. If they want the prize money, they'll have to work as a team. But 6 of them will leave with nothing, as round by round we lose the player voted the weakest link. Let's meet the team.
I'm Angie, I'm 38, I'm a satellite communications engineer from Helston in Cornwall.
My name's Steve, I'm 27 years old, a learning support assistant from Hampshire.
I'm Caroline, I'm 29, I'm a student recruitment officer from Swansea.
I'm Andy, I'm 26, I'm a housing officer from Stockport.
My name is Maura, I'm 31, I'm a self-employed bookkeeper from Ballybowley in County Antrim.
My name's Alan, I'm 39 years old, I'm a postman from Taunton in Somerset.
I'm Jackie, I'm 66 and I'm a retired teacher from Hyde in Hampshire.
Now the rules in each round, the aim is to answer enough questions correctly to reach your £2,500 target within the time limit. The fastest way is to create a chain of 7 correct answers. Get your question wrong and you break the chain and lose all the money in that chain. But if you say bank before the question is asked, the money is safe. However, you start a new chain from scratch. Remember, at the end of the round, only money that has been banked can be taken forward. In round 1, there are 2.5 minutes on the clock. We'll start with the person whose name is first alphabetically. That's you, Alan. Let's play the weakest link. First question is for £50. Start the clock. Alan, what M is a mythical sea creature with the head and upper body of a woman and the tail of a fish?
Mermaid.
Correct, Jackie. In music, Neil Tennant is a member of the pop group The Pet Shop what?
Boys.
Correct. Angie, according to the saying, a declaration that something is in a good condition is like a clean bill of what?
Health.
Correct. Steve, in Christianity, what H is the name of the dwelling place of God and all souls who have been faithful on earth?
Pass.
Heaven. Caroline, in geography, Guernsey, Jersey, Alderney and Sark are collectively known as the what islands?
Channel.
Correct, Andy. In film, the 1992 thriller Basic Instinct starred Sharon who?
Stone.
Correct, Maura. In nature, what W is the fine network spun by a spider to capture its prey?
Web.
Correct, Alan. The Consumer Protection Organisation, known by the initials OFT, is the Office of Fair what?
Trading.
Correct, Jackie. In snooker, which colour ball is worth 1 point?
Red.
Correct, Angie.
Bang.
In theatre, complete the title of the Shakespeare play A Midsummer Night's What?
Dream.
Correct, Steve. What T was the nickname of 1960s model Leslie Hornby because of her thin appearance?
Twiggy.
Correct, Caroline. In geography, in which European country would you find the River Dordogne?
France.
Correct, Andy. What word can mean either a mechanism to regulate the flow of water or a device for listening into telephone conversation?
Tap.
Correct, Maura. In farming, a swine is more commonly referred to as what kind of livestock?
Pig.
Correct,
Bank.
Alan. The famous locomotive which pulled trains from London to Edinburgh was known as the Flying what?
Scotsman.
Correct, Jackie. What was the name of Carrie Fisher's character in the original Star Wars trilogy?
Pass.
Princess Leia. Angie, in history, which famous heroine is the patron saint of France?
Joan of Arc.
Correct, Steve. In nature, what A is the powdery substance that is left after something has been burnt?
Ash.
Correct, Caroline. In sport, Audley Harrison won which medal for super heavyweight boxing during the 2000 Olympics?
Gold.
Correct, Andy. In politics, whom did John Smith succeed as leader of the Labour Party?
Pass.
Neil Kinnock. Maura. In TV, Wendy Richard played Miss Brahms in which BBC sitcom set in a department store?
Are you being served?
Correct, Alan. In the animal kingdom, what T is another name for an elephant's incisor tooth?
Tusk.
Correct, Jackie.
Bank.
Which 1978 film musical features romances between members of the T-Birds and the Pink Ladies?
Pass.
Greece. Angie, in science, the word aqueous describes... Time is up. And in that first round, you won £2,100 out of a possible £2,500. But who, even at this early stage, is worryingly dim and out of their depth? Who would it be a disaster to keep on the team? One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Alan is the strongest link as he answered all of his questions correctly and banked the most money for the team. Jackie is the weakest link according to the statistics. But at this early stage of the game, what factors will the players take into account as they vote for the first time?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Steve.
Jackie.
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 Andy.
Steve.
Caroline, had enough of Jackie?
No, not at all, but when you've
Why
got
have
to
you
vote
voted
someone,
for her then?
She got a couple of questions wrong, I think.
You think?
Yes.
Can you remember what they were?
No.
So you've not got much of a memory then,
No.
Caroline. Steve! What do you do?
I'm a learning support assistant.
Got any hobbies?
I have, yes.
Share them with us.
Sport, karaoke.
Do you like music?
I don't mind a bit of music, yes.
Any particular music?
Steps.
Anything
I like
else?
everything, clubbing.
Robbie
anything and everything.
Williams?
I do it all. I don't mind a bit of Robbie Williams, yes.
You don't mind a bit of Robbie Williams, yes?
Ties in with my karaoke, Anne.
Ties in with your karaoke, Anne. What's your favourite Robbie Williams number?
Angels.
Angels! And tell me, Steve, where do angels come from?
Well, seeing as I'm going to go to hell, Anne, I wouldn't know.
And what did Jackie do?
Two of the classics, Anne.
Two of the classics.
Star Wars, Grease. I'm sorry, no excuse for that.
Jackie, with 4 votes, you are the weakest link. Bye.
It's devastating to be voted off. I didn't really expect to go first, because I've got a fair general knowledge, but Anne's questions didn't fit my answers.
Round 2, team. So far, you've won £2,100 out of a possible £2,500. There are 6 of you left. We are now taking 10 seconds off the clock. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's you, Alan. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Alan, in football, Bayern Munich is a team in the domestic league of which European country?
Germany.
Correct. Angie, the American actor Patrick Who starred in the films Ghost and Dirty Dancing?
Swayze.
Correct, Steve. In biology, what N is the name given to the sweet liquid produced by plants?
Nectar.
Correct. Caroline, in government, the cabinet minister who delivers the annual budget speech in Parliament is known as the Chancellor of the what?
Exchequer.
Correct,
Bank.
Andy. What P is the name of the collectible brochures which can be purchased at football matches?
Programmes.
Correct. Maura, in the 1960s TV sitcom, Herman, Lily, Grandpa, Eddie and Marilyn were members of which ghoulish family?
The Hermans.
The Munsters. Alan, in aviation, what is the popular name for the unit containing an aeroplane's flight and voice recorders?
Black box.
Correct. Angie, in the animal kingdom, what name is given to a male rabbit?
Buck.
Correct, Steve. In music, which American singer had UK hit singles in the 1970s with Woman in Love and You Don't Bring Me Flowers?
Pass.
Barbara Streisand. Caroline, in Matthew's Gospel, who hanged himself because of his guilt over betraying Jesus?
Pass.
Judas. Andy, in the animal kingdom, which of the following is a species of bird? The yellow hammer or yellow nail?
Yellowhammer.
Correct. Maura, in which 1990 film does Johnny Depp's character create ice sculptures using his scissor-like digits?
Scissorhands.
Edward Scissorhands. I can't accept Scissorhands. Alan, King Charles II had an actress mistress called Nell who?
Gwyn.
Correct. Angie, what M is the name given to the first voyage of a ship?
Maiden voyage.
Correct, Steve. In comic strips, the alter ego of which of Batman's enemies is the feline-friendly Selina Kyle?
Catwoman.
Correct. Caroline, what B are read out in church for 3 Sundays before a wedding?
Bands.
Correct,
Bank.
Andy. In sport, what is the official called in a game of cricket?
Umpire.
Correct, Maura. In language, which 3-letter word can mean both a common insect pest and to travel in an aircraft?
fly.
Correct, Alan.
Blank.
In the animal kingdom, frogs, toads and newts are all classed as what type of animal?
Amphibians.
Correct, Angie.
Blank.
In music, a syrinx is a wind instrument more commonly known as the pan what?
Pipes.
Correct, Steve. In which European country is the tourist area of Alicante?
Spain.
Correct, Caroline. In
Bank.
British politics, in which of the two houses of Parliament would you find backbenchers? Time is up. The correct answer is the House of Commons. You only answered 4 questions incorrectly, but you only banked £1,250 out of a possible 2,500. Whose brain has popped its clogs? One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Alan is the strongest link for the second time. The statistics show that Maura is the weakest link. But will the rest of the team have realised this?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Caroline.
Maura.
Steve.
Maura.
Steve.
Caroline.
We have a 3-way tie. Steve, Maura, Caroline, 2 votes each. Steve, just entertain us for a little while with why Jackie was dead in the water for not having known anything about Greece or Star Wars, and you couldn't answer a simple question about Barbara Streisand.
A bit before my time, man.
You're just limited, are you, to your time?
I just have good taste in music, yeah.
You actually think Steps is good taste in music?
Should try them, man. They're very good.
What are Maura's shortcomings?
One more wrong than me, I'm afraid.
Maura, what do you do?
I'm a self-employed bookkeeper.
Oh, and you don't know much about popular culture.
I know bits.
What did Steve do to upset you? The entertaining Steve, who likes Steps. And Robbie Williams.
He got a question wrong.
Not as many wrong as you got wrong, though.
No, that's true, but he still got one wrong.
And Alan, why have you voted for Caroline?
I thought she got more wrong than anybody else, or on par with at least Steve, I think.
What do you do?
I'm a postman, yeah.
Are you? Do you have to count?
Well, occasionally, sometimes.
Because actually, Caroline only got 1 question wrong. However, when the vote is tied, the strongest link has to cast the deciding vote. And Alan, you were the strongest link. So you have to choose between Caroline, Maura, and entertaining Steve.
No, I'll stick with my original choice.
Why Caroline? She was by no means the weakest link.
I'm like that, I'm very nasty.
Statistically, the worst player in that round was Maura. Alan has made the decision. Caroline? Not great on the Bible, are you?
No.
Who is the weakest link? Goodbye.
I don't know why Alan stuck with me. I suppose on principle he felt he should stick with the person he voted for in the first place. Although I secretly think he voted for me because he knows I'm stronger than him and he wanted to get rid of me.
Round 3, £3,350 in the kitty. 5 of you left. We're taking another 10 seconds off the clock. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Alan. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Alan, with which sport is Lance Armstrong associated? Cycling or weightlifting?
Cycling now.
Correct. Angie, what bee is the name of the woody stem grass plant found mainly in Asia, which forms the staple diet of the giant panda?
Bamboo.
Correct. Steve, in
Bank.
pop music, in which country of the UK were the Bay City Rollers formed?
Scotland.
Correct. Andy, in the animal kingdom, what F is the name given to a young female horse?
Foal.
Philly, but I'll accept foal. Mara, in maths, if a dog chases a cat for 28 metres across a garden, how far is that in centimetres?
2,800.
Correct, Alan.
Bank.
In finance, the term used to describe a large, prestigious company considered a safe investment is blue what?
Chip.
Correct, Angie. In theatre, what B is New York's equivalent of London's West End?
Broadway.
Correct, Steve. In the animal kingdom, what are rhinoceroses, herbivores or carnivores?
Carnivores.
Herbivores. Andy, On standard British cars, what colour are the reversing lights?
White.
Correct, Maura. In music, the first four of Vivaldi's Opus 8 concertos are known as the four what?
Seasons.
Correct,
Bank.
Alan. In geography, in terms of population, which is the largest country in Asia?
China.
Correct, Angie. In food, tornadoes are thick, round fillet slices of which meat?
Beef.
Correct, Steve. In language, what J do Americans call a caretaker?
Janitor.
Correct, Andy. In a mercury thermometer, when the temperature decreases, does the mercury expand or contract?
Contract.
Correct, Maura. In modern history, during which World War did the Battle of Britain take place?
1.
Note 2. Alan, in the animal kingdom, what kind of creatures are bee-eaters?
Birds.
Correct, Angie. In theatre, complete the title of Rodgers and Hammerstein's 1949 Pulitzer-winning musical South what?
Pacific.
Correct, Steve. In music, Lisa Scott Lee is a member of which British pop group?
Steps.
Correct,
Bank.
Andy. In British politics, who was Speaker of the House of Commons from 1992 until October 2000?
Betty Boothroyd.
Correct, Maura. In sport, Hampden Park is the national football stadium of which country?
England.
Scotland. Alan, in which European capital city is the musical and film My Fair Lady set?
Vienna.
London. Angie, in geography, which state of the US comprises... Time's up and you banked £800. But who has gone very dim indeed, whose knowledge is now completely inadequate? I urge you, dispatch the dunce, eject the idiot. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Andy answered all of his questions correctly and banked money, making him the strongest link. Maura is the weakest link for the second time, according to the statistics. Can she survive another vote?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Moira.
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 Andy.
Moira.
Angie,
Yes.
you haven't answered a single question incorrectly.
It's a miracle, actually. Very surprised.
What do you do?
I'm a satellite communications engineer.
What's Maura done to upset you?
Absolutely nothing. Smashing lady, but weakest in that round, I think.
Andy, what didn't Moira do for you?
I think Moira got 2 wrong in that round.
Yes, Moira, the bookkeeper. She did the arithmetic question okay, but after that it was downhill all the way. History, sport, film, television. 4 votes, Moira, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I was pathetic in that round. So I've got what I deserve. I would like to see Andy go next because I think he's getting quite nervous and I think he's going to be a liability to the team in further rounds.
Round 4, you've banked £4,150 so far out of potential prize money of £7,500. There are 4 of you left. We're taking another 10 seconds off the clock. You now have only 2 minutes. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Andy. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Andy, in the card game Bridge, if you win a rubber, how many games out of 3 have you won?
2.
Correct, Alan. In music, when a mute is inserted into the bell of a brass instrument, is the sound produced by the instrument louder or softer?
Softer.
Correct, Angie. What M is a geographical representation, usually of part of the Earth's surface, drawn or printed on paper?
Map.
Correct, Steve.
Bank.
In religion, complete the name of this commemorative day in the Christian calendar. Ash what?
Wednesday.
Correct, Andy. In 1533, Henry VIII broke from which religion after failing to obtain a marriage annulment?
Catholicism.
Correct. Alan, who played the toy maker in the film Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Benny Hill or Bernard Cribbins?
Benny Hill.
Correct, Angie. In food, okra is also known as ladies' what?
Glove.
Finger. Steve, in football, which country won the 1966 World Cup final?
England.
Correct, Andy. In fashion, what C is the name given to the upright or turned over neckband of a shirt or blouse?
Pass.
Collar. Alan, in human biology, dermatitis is a disease that affects which organ?
The skin.
Correct, Angie. In botany, the name of which plant is derived from the French word penser, meaning thought?
Pansy.
Correct, Steve. In film, which actor starred as William Wallace in the 1995 drama Braveheart?
Mel Gibson.
Correct, Andy. In football, which English club won their first European Cup in 1977?
Liverpool.
Correct, Alan. In music, what name is given to a clapperless metal bell that is played as a percussion instrument by being struck with a drumstick?
Kettle drum.
Cowbell. Angie, in American politics, which position in government did George Bush Sr. hold immediately prior to president?
Vice President.
Correct, Steve.
Bank.
In literature, complete the title of this 1961 Muriel Spark novel, The Prime of Miss Who?
Hoover.
Jean Brodie. Andy, in the USA, which state uses the postal abbreviation FL?
Florida.
Correct,
Bank.
Alan. In TV, Nancy Cartwright is the voice of which... Time is up. I cannot complete the question. And in that round, you banked a not over-impressive £750. Who has reached the end of the road? Who should be taking steps out of here? Who is well past their best? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
According to the statistics, Andy is the strongest link for the second time. Angie is the weakest link. But will the voting follow the facts?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Steve.
Angie.
Steve.
Steve.
Alan. Had enough of Steve.
Yeah. Any man that likes steps, serious problem.
Andy. No one wear a shirt with a collar in Stockport.
I can't believe it. No. Yeah.
What
Just couldn't
happened?
think. Just couldn't come to me. Just didn't come to me.
What about Steve? What did he do to upset you?
I think he got 2 questions wrong.
Just the one.
Oh well. Well, that's it. I voted for
Do
Steve.
you know anyone else who got a question wrong?
I think we all got a question wrong.
That's true. Even Angie got a question wrong. What happened, Angie?
I don't know.
Ladies' fingers? You never heard of okra?
No, I haven't.
Why Steve?
I wasn't sure between Alan and Steve, but I don't really like Robbie Williams.
Steve! I think it's time you took steps to leave. With 3 votes, and because you have delighted us for long enough, Steve, you are the weakest link. Goodbye!
I can't believe I was actually voted off. There was 3 of us all on one question answered incorrectly. I actually banked, which I thought was going to save my skin, to actually get voted off by Angie because of Robbie Williams. Not happy at all, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Hopefully she'll go out in the next round.
Round 5, team. Your total so far is £4,900. If you'd hit your targets, it would be 10,000. There are 3 of you left. Another 10 seconds coming on for the time. We start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Andy. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Andy, in literature, Charles Dickens' novel A Tale of Two Cities is set during which 18th century revolution?
French.
Correct, Alan. In film, complete the title of the 1983 comedy starring Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. Trading what?
Places.
Correct, Angie.
Bank.
In history, the 100 Years' War was between England and which other country?
France.
Correct, Andy. If it is 5 degrees Celsius and the temperature drops by 12 degrees overnight, how cold will it be?
-7 degrees
Correct,
Celsius.
Alan. In pop music, which former Neighbours star had a UK #1 single with Too Many Broken Hearts in 1989?
Kylie Minogue.
No, Jason Donovan. Angie, in sport, for what do the initials RFU stand?
Rugby Football Union.
Correct, Andy. In maths, what is found by multiplying the length by the breadth by the height of a cuboid?
The volume.
Correct, Alan. In geography, in which continent is Amazonia National Park?
South America.
Correct, Angie. Prior to decimalisation in the UK, how many shillings were there in a guinea?
21.
Correct,
Bank.
Andy. In history, what P was the paper-like writing material used by ancient Egyptians, Greeks and Romans?
Papyrus.
Correct,
Bank.
Alan. In which European country is the city of Utrecht?
Holland.
Correct. Angie, in human biology, what sort of natural twins have exactly the same information in their DNA?
Identical.
Correct, Andy. What is the name of the former England goalkeeper who sold his World Cup winners' medal at auction in March 2001?
Gone Banks.
Correct, Alan.
Bank.
Which language is most commonly spoken in Switzerland?
Swiss.
German. Angie, people who participate in which hobby are known as twitchers?
Birdwatching.
Correct,
Bank.
Andy. If a sports stadium has the capacity to seat 40,000 people, how many thousands would be needed to fill 3/4 of it?
30.
Correct,
Bank.
Alan. In pop music, Morton Harkett was the vocalist in which band that had a UK hit single with... Correct. Time is up. You only answered 2 questions incorrectly and you banked £1,000. Now, in round 6, you get the chance to triple what you bank, and that means in the next round, there's £7,500 to be won. The question is, whose house has got no lights on? Who has been pipped at the post? Whose satellite is out of orbit? Have the courage to vote off the weakest link.
For the 3rd time, Andy is the strongest link. Alan was the only player to answer any of his questions incorrectly, making him the weakest link, although he did bank money for the team and was the strongest link in 2 earlier rounds. But will it be enough to save him when it comes to the vote?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Alan.
Alan.
Angie.
Andy.
I'm happy. So far.
I haven't asked you anything yet. I'm not interested whether you're happy. You don't come on this show to be happy, Andy.
Sorry.
Why, Alan?
I think Alan got 2 wrong in that round.
You weren't getting rid of your worst rival, were you?
He was the weakest link in that round.
That was a bit of a relief, wasn't it?
Angie's very good.
Angie, why Alan?
I thought he got 2 wrong, and I'm even more pleased that I voted for him now, seeing that he voted for me.
That's fair enough. Alan, who doesn't know the difference between Kylie and Jason. With 2 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Andy and Angie voted tactically. They got rid of me. I don't know why. I think I was the strongest right the way through, and I should have been in the final.
Round 6, team. So far, you have in the kitty £5,900 out of a possible £12,500. Andy and Angie, just the 2 of you left, and this time you have 90 seconds. But whatever you win in this round will be tripled and added to your total to make up your final prize money. So, £7,500 is at stake in this round. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round, that's Andy. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Andy, who is the actor father of EastEnders actress Hannah Waterman?
Dennis Waterman.
Correct. Angie, in rugby union, what is the maximum number of players per team permitted to take part in a scrum?
7.
8. Andy, in TV, who was Peter Cook's main male co-star in the comedy series Not Only But Also, first shown in 1965?
Dudley Moore.
Correct. Angie, in biology, how many sets of chromosomes do diploid cells contain?
2.
Correct. Andy, which region of France takes its name from the Latin Provencia because it was the first Roman province beyond the Alps?
Pyrenees.
Provence. Angie, in pop music, which male singer released the singles Never Gonna Give You Up and Together Forever in the late 1980s?
Nick Kershaw.
Rick Astley. Andy, famous for his prophecies, by what name was the French astrologer Michel de Notre Dame better known?
Pass.
Nostradamus. Angie, in a playground there are 58 girls and 66 boys. How many children are there in total?
124.
Correct. Andy, in fashion, what name is given to the ornamental shoulder strap on a military jacket or coat?
Pass.
Epaulet. Angie, in which century was the first parachute jump made from an aeroplane?
19th.
20th. Andy, by what name is the English pop singer Kim Smith better known?
Kim Wilde.
Correct. Angie,
Bank.
in 1983, Sally Ride became the first woman from which country to go into space?
America.
Correct. Andy, in geography, Islamabad. Okay, time's up and you banked £250. We'll triple that and add it to the winnings from the previous rounds. That means total prize money this evening of £6,650. But of course, Only one of you can take that money away. So now you will be playing against each other head to head. I'll ask alternate questions, best of 5. Whoever answers the most correctly wins. It's as simple as that. If there's a tie after 5, we'll go for sudden death until we have a winner. So Andy and Angie, for £6,650, let's play the weakest link. Angie, as the strongest link in the last round, you have the choice of who goes first.
I'd like Andy to go first, please.
Andy, in travel, Rimini is a popular holiday resort in which European country?
Italy.
That is the correct answer. Angie, according to Tennyson's famous poem, with which of King Arthur's knights did the Lady of Shalott have an unrequited love affair?
Sir Lancelot.
That is the correct answer. Andy, in the animal kingdom, Emperor, Snow, and Canada are varieties of which type of bird?
Penguin.
No, the correct answer is goose. Angie, in which Gilbert and Sullivan operetta would you find the song that begins, "On a tree by a river, a little Tom Tit sang willow, tit willow, tit willow"?
Pirates of Penzance.
No, the correct answer is the Mikado. Andy, which British physicist, born in 1942, is famous for his work on black holes?
Stephen Hawking.
That is the correct answer. Angie, the father of which senior Conservative politician was a refugee called Louis, who came to Britain at the end of the Spanish Civil War?
John Major.
No, the correct answer is Michael Portillo. Andy, what is the name of the British dependency on the southern coast of the Iberian Peninsula?
Gibraltar.
That is the correct answer. Angie, you need to answer this question correctly to stay in the game. Which English actor and director played the character John Hammond in the Jurassic Park films?
Richard Attenborough.
That is the correct answer. Andy, if you answer this question correctly, you've won. So for £6,650. A statue of Francis Drake is a prominent feature of which English seaport?
Plymouth.
That is the correct answer. That means, Andy, you are today's strongest link and you go away with £6,650. Angie, you leave with nothing. Join us again for the weakest link. Goodbye.
Absolutely delighted to have got this far. Never expected it. I can go back and hold my head up high.
It's really good to have won the weakest link. Bit shocked, bit surprised, but it's great.
I'd have liked to have won. I was just relieved that I didn't have to do the walk of shame.
I think overall Andrew is probably the strongest link, but at the end of the day, the luck was on my side.